The GP medical tent was crowded, the smell of disinfectant mixing with the dust of the training grounds outside. Soldiers waited their turn, joking, groaning, and complaining about sore backs and twisted ankles. But everything changed the moment the flap of the tent opened, and a quiet man walked in with a little girl holding his hand. She couldn't have been more than 6, with big, worried eyes and a stuffed rabbit tucked under her arm. The man himself looked tired, like someone who had fought too many battles no one else could see. Yet there was something in the way he carried himself, something that made even the air pause around him. A group of young Marines were sitting on the benches. One of them, broad-shouldered, loud, full of confidence, noticed the stranger and couldn't resist a joke. "Hey buddy," he called out, grinning at his friends, "you look way too calm to be a recruit." "What's your rank, single dad?" His friends chuckled, not out of cruelty, but because boredom always made them entertain the loudest one in the group. The little girl squeezed her father's fingers, nervous. The man glanced at the Marine but didn't answer at first. Instead, he helped his daughter sit on a chair, brushing a loose strand of hair from her forehead. Something about the movement, so gentle, so careful, contrasted sharply with the rugged, chaotic tent around them. And then, in a voice so steady it made a few people look up, he finally replied, "Son, if I tell you my rank, I'm afraid you and your boys might stop breathing." A silence rolled across the tent like a cold wind. The Marines froze, not because the man's tone was threatening, but because it carried an authority they knew instantly. It wasn't arrogance. It was experience, the kind earned from years of standing between danger and those who couldn't defend themselves. The loud Marine blinked, then forced a laugh. "Okay then, sir, now I'm actually curious." Before the man could answer, the medic called out, "Next." Excuse me, sir. "Are you?" "No, it can't be." The medic's eyes widened as if he'd seen a ghost. He stood up straighter, almost knocking over a tray of supplies. "Is that you, Commander Hale?" A ripple spread across the tent. Several heads turned. Even the Marines who had been laughing earlier now sat stiffly. The quiet man nodded politely. "Retired Fleet Marine Force Commander Nathan Hale. Just here for my daughter's checkup." The loud Marine went pale. His jaw hung open. He stood so fast the bench scraped loudly across the floor. "Sir, Commander, I didn't know, I mean," but no words came out right. He looked like a kid who had just learned he cracked a joke about someone who had survived battles written about in military history books. Commander Hale just gave him a small smile. "Relax, son. If I took every joke personally, I wouldn't have lasted a month." The tension softened, but not completely. The entire tent looked different now. Conversations stopped. People straightened their posture. The air felt charged with respect. In military culture, rank wasn't just a position, it was a lifetime of sacrifice measured in scars, losses, and silent burdens. And Commander Hale was the kind of man whose rank had weight far beyond what the insignia represented. As the medic examined his daughter, the Marine who had joked earlier approached slowly, like someone nearing a sacred place. "Sir, if I may ask, why are you out here alone?" "No security. No assistance." Hale looked at his daughter again before answering. "When her mother passed away during deployment, I promised her she would never have to grow up around people who only saluted me instead of seeing me. I wanted her to have a normal life. I stepped away. She deserved her father more than the military needed another." "Commander." The Marine swallowed hard. The revelation hit everyone like a quiet storm. Grief, duty, sacrifice, fatherhood. It was all etched into the man's face, invisible until you looked closely. Another Marine asked gently, "Sir, is your daughter okay?" The little girl looked at them shyly. "I'm fine. Daddy just worries too much." Hale chuckled. "It's my job." But then the medic frowned while checking a chart. "Commander, her fever's been coming and going. Has she been under stress lately?" Hale hesitated. "Her school situation hasn't been the best. Some kids can be cruel. She's been scared to tell me." The tent grew heavy again. No one liked bullies, least of all Marines who dedicated their lives to stopping them in every form. The loud Marine stepped forward, this time with sincerity instead of bravado. "Sir, with respect, no kid of yours should ever feel unsafe. If you allow it, we'd like to, be there. Make sure she's okay." Hale raised an eyebrow. "You want to walk her to school?" "Every day, sir," the Marine replied without hesitation. "There are 5 of us." Nobody will bother her again. The little girl's eyes sparkled. Daddy, Kane. Hale knelt in front of her, brushing her cheek softly. Only if you want them to, sweetheart. She nodded eagerly. Yes, please. And just like that, 5 tough Marines stood straighter than they had all day, because they weren't protecting a commander now. They were protecting a child who had already seen too much fear in her young life. The tent, once noisy and chaotic, slowly filled with warmth, a different kind of strength. The kind built from compassion, respect, and newfound purpose. Before leaving, Hale turned to the Marine who had first joked with him. Son, sometimes the greatest ranks aren't worn on uniforms. They're earned by how you treat people when no one's watching. The Marine nodded deeply, his voice thick. Yes, sir. And, thank you for the lesson. As Hale and his daughter walked out, the Marines followed behind them instinctively, as if guarding them was already part of their duty. Outside, sunlight poured over the field, and for a moment, everything felt right in the world. The story of the single dad and the Marines spread across the base by sundown. But more importantly, the girl walked into school the next day surrounded by 5 guardians who stood tall, proud, and unbreakable. Not because of Hale's rank, but because of the kind of father and the kind of man he was. And that day, even the bullies stepped aside. If you're still watching, don't forget, stories like these remind us how powerful kindness, humility, and courage can be. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to feel inspired today.